In a surprising turn of events, Red Bull Racing's team principal Christian Horner has dropped a huge update. Both Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso are now top contenders for Red Bull's Formula One seat in 2025. This announcement has stirred up the racing world, as both drivers are well known for their incredible skills and competitive drive. Could this be the lineup change that shakes up the next F1 season? So, let's dive into this video today to know more about what this means for Red Bull and the future of Formula One. Carlos Sainz, who is currently with Ferrari, might move to Red Bull Racing for the next Formula One season. Sainz is looking for a new team because Ferrari chose Lewis Hamilton to replace him in 2025. Even though Sainz was the only driver from a team other than Red Bull to win a race in the last year and a half, he doesn't have a team for next year yet. Sainz also had surgery during the second race weekend of 2024, but returned strong. Just 2 weeks after his surgery, he won a race in Australia, breaking Max Verstappen's winning streak. This win was notable because it was the first time someone other than Verstappen had won since Sainz won in Singapore the previous year. Christian Horner, the team principal at Red Bull Racing, once joked that Sainz seemed to be their tough competitor. However, now Horner seems genuinely interested in having Sainz join Red Bull. He even made a special point of publicly mentioning this interest. Red Bull's alternatives aren't impressing, and the Australian Grand Prix was a tough weekend for those hoping to become Max Verstappen's teammate at Red Bull in 2025. Sergio Perez had a strong start to the season and faced disappointment when he needed it least, especially since Verstappen had to retire from the race. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo, racing for Red Bull's second team, also had a rough time at his home event. On a brighter note, Yuki Tsunoda, Ricciardo's teammate, performed exceptionally well, earning the team's first points of the season. In a fair world, Tsunoda's performance would make him a strong contender for a spot at Red Bull Racing. However, the reality of team politics and other factors seems to limit his chances. This situation opens the door for Carlos Sainz, who is currently looking for a new team and could potentially fill the spot next to Verstappen at Red Bull. Horner brings Sainz into the mix. After the Melbourne race, Christian Horner, the team principal of Red Bull Racing, was questioned about Yuki Tsunoda being potentially overlooked for a promotion within the team. This led to a broader discussion about Red Bull's future driver lineup possibilities, particularly regarding Carlos Sainz. Horner acknowledged Tsunoda's speed and talent, stating, "Yuki's a very quick driver, we know that." However, he emphasized Red Bull's aim to field the strongest possible driver pairing, hinting at looking beyond the current pool of available talent. Horner highlighted the fluidity of the driver market, especially after a standout performance by Sainz, who is currently without a team for 2025 but won the recent race. "You've had a very fast, unemployed driver win the race, so the market is reasonably fluid with certain drivers," Horner remarked. When directly asked whether Red Bull would consider bringing Sainz into their lineup, Horner responded, "Based on a performance like that, you couldn't rule any possibility out." This open-minded approach signifies that Sainz is very much on Red Bull's radar as a potential candidate for 2025. Given his track record, Sainz is a valuable asset who could enhance any team's competitiveness, including Red Bull. His past performances at Toro Rosso alongside Verstappen, at McLaren with Lando Norris, and more recently at Ferrari against Charles Leclerc have proven his capability and adaptability. Horner's comments suggest that Sainz could be a significant upgrade over the current second driver, Sergio Perez, and a more compelling option than either Daniel Ricciardo or Tsunoda. Alonso also came among the top contenders. Ralf Schumacher recently shared insights into a significant strategy shift at Red Bull Racing, indicating their interest in bringing Fernando Alonso on board for the 2025 season. Despite his impressive streak of 3 consecutive World Championships, this development emerges amid the uncertainties surrounding Max Verstappen's future with the team. Additionally, Sergio Perez's contract is set to expire at the end of 2024, further complicating the team's dynamics. The situation is made even more complex by rumors of internal power struggles within Red Bull, particularly involving team principal Christian Horner, though the team has officially denied such issues. Amidst this backdrop, Fernando Alonso's contract with Aston Martin is nearing its end after the current season, making him available for new opportunities in 2025. Alonso has preferred to continue with Aston Martin if he chooses to keep racing. Speaking to Sky Deutschland, Schumacher highlighted that not only is Verstappen considering his options, but Red Bull is also actively exploring alternatives. He noted, "Christian Horner has always been a very big fan of Fernando Alonso. Apparently, there are big intentions in the background to bring Fernando Alonso into the cockpit next year to have another strong driver if Max Verstappen leaves the team." Schumacher praised Alonso's recent performances and his fit for Red Bull, stating, "If Fernando Alonso were to get to Red Bull at the end of his career and in a car with which he can win, Alonso would obviously want that. And you saw what Alonso did again at the weekend, how fast he was and how he prevented George Russell from overtaking him. I think he knows what he wants and would fit in well." He further emphasized the importance of experience in Formula One, especially for a team like Red Bull that aims to continue its competitive edge. And of course, you have to say today, you need experienced people. You have to win from the outset. Especially at Red Bull, this is very important, and I think Fernando Alonso would be a good alternative. The potential addition of Alonso to Red Bull could be a strategic move to bolster the team's lineup amidst a potentially shifting driver market. Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari for 2025 has already stirred up this year's silly season, with many young drivers poised to step into Formula One and several current drivers having contracts due to expire this year. Red Bull's decision-making in this context will be crucial as they navigate through these transitions and prepare for the upcoming seasons. Sainz and Alonso's take. Fernando Alonso, the seasoned Formula One driver, has openly discussed the possibility of joining Red Bull for the 2025 season. However, he sees this move as unlikely unless Max Verstappen, the current lead driver at Red Bull, decides to leave. This statement came as Alonso prepares for the upcoming Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, where he continues to compete fiercely despite uncertain future in the sport. Alonso, now 42 and a two-time world champion, is nearing the end of his contract with Aston Martin. With Sergio Perez's future also uncertain, there's speculation that Alonso could end his illustrious career at Red Bull, the reigning world champions. Yet Alonso remains realistic about the chances of this move, citing the low probability of Verstappen leaving Red Bull as a significant barrier. He expressed his focus on the present, emphasizing his desire to concentrate on the current races rather than getting caught up in speculation about his future. During an interview, Alonso mentioned, "Sure, if Max leaves Red Bull, maybe that has an impact. But I think there is zero chance of that happening, so I think that's something that I'm not thinking about too much." He added that he aims to focus solely on his current commitments, not the swirling rumors or potential opportunities elsewhere. Concurrently, Carlos Sainz, another prominent figure in F1, shared his views on the importance of proving one's worth through performance. Following a notable victory that demonstrated his capability, Sainz addressed his current jobless status for the upcoming season, suggesting that his recent win would bolster his appeal to team principles. However, Sainz clarified that his motivation is not to impress others, but to fulfill his personal standards and potential. "I race to keep proving to myself that I can win whenever I get a competitive car and whenever there's an opportunity to win in a weekend," Sainz stated. He emphasized that his primary drive is to demonstrate to himself, rather than to others, that he is capable of excelling when given the right opportunities. Both Alonso and Sainz shared sentiment among top-tier F1 drivers. The desire to compete at the highest levels is driven by personal ambition and the continuous goal to excel, regardless of external pressures or expectations. As the F1 silly season approaches, the decisions of these seasoned drivers will be closely watched, with their potential moves likely to influence the dynamics within the sport's top teams. So, what do you think of the top contenders of Red Bull? Comment below and subscribe for more.